Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I thought I would just come on here and talk about the deal that's being made to have Prime Energy drink on the canvas of a WWE ring, center ring. So what do we feel about this? I mean, as a wrestling fan, I'm not too worked up over it. I mean, I know some wrestling fans are like, it's sacrilege, we cannot have it on the wrestling mat. But I also think back to days of WCW and remember that Slim Jim was on the mat, for example. And so it's not the first time this has actually happened in a wrestling setting. Obviously, it's the first time in a WWE ring to have a sponsor on the mat, but it's not unprecedented. It's been done before. So how do I actually feel about it? Well, obviously, I would prefer if it wasn't there. I mean, a lot of fans are like, yes, I would prefer if it's not there. But also, this is a business. I understand it's the wrestling business. And look, they'll make a lot of money from having that sponsorship. I'm guessing over the term of many years, it'll be beneficial to WWE to have that deal. And obviously, people from UFC will just be like, we have sponsors on the mat, and as long as we get good action, we don't care. That's sort of my mentality as well. Like, as long as we get the quality of matches and the proper storylines and everything we want, I'm not so much against having the sponsors on the ring, as opposed to if it was all just rubbish at the moment and we had the Mountain Dew Lights Out match, and I think that was Bray Wyatt's last match actually. But you know, having sponsors in wrestling is not too big of a deal. I don't really see it as a problem as long as the content is good. Like, if we're getting quality matches, that is a plus, and that is what I would want to happen. I mean, yes, I saw the memes. I'm wearing my Cactus Jack shirt today, so definitely wearing my Cactus shirt. I have seen the memes out there on the internet. You guys are crazy in the IWC. I saw the memes of someone has photoshopped the Prime Energy drink onto the canvas for Hell in a Cell, Mankind versus The Undertaker from back in the day. And it is really hilarious. And yes, I see the memes. I understand it's going to look very silly. But I also understand, like, look, it is a business. TKO are now in charge. Vince McMahon is gone from the company, as he should be. And we are kind of in this weird transition phase. And obviously TKO know they make a lot of money based on having sponsors on the canvas for UFC. So obviously they would want to bring that to wrestling and try to capitalize on some of that market. As a wrestling fan, I am, as I said, I'm not too worked up over it. I definitely am aware that it's going to look very silly. I'm definitely aware it could impact the product. But they're only going to do it for pay-per-views, which is what they're saying, or premium live events, sorry. But like, something like, where is it over here? I'll just grab it off the shelf. We will grab one of these pay-per-views, essentially. Where is King of the Ring? Here it is, I've got it. People have been comparing King of the Ring to what that would look like with a Prime Energy drink on the canvas. And we have to understand, this was a different era. And yes, it would look terribly silly if we had Hell in a Cell like that and had Prime Energy drink on the canvas. It would look very silly. And yeah, this King of the Ring, it's really, really cool. This is 98. This was the Hell in a Cell match, Undertaker and Mankind. Great, great pay-per-view. But yes, I'm a long-time wrestling fan, but I'm not so worked up over it because I do check out UFC from time to time. I'm not a massive UFC fan, but I do check it out and I understand they have sponsors and it's worked very well in the UFC template. And it's also meant that, you know, professional fighters are paid a lot better. And if this still translates to bigger payouts for all the wrestlers, and if they can maybe create some sort of healthcare option or like unionize or something, that would be even better. But I mean, that's just wishful thinking at this point. So yeah, I feel like this background's kind of crap. So let's go around here and look at my physical media collection. I'll stand in front of there and do the rest of the video. Give me 2 seconds. This is the thing, I do real rough videos with this stuff, so let's come back around here because this is a better background. So why would... that is really bad framing. That is really, really bad framing, guys. What was I thinking? So yeah, in terms of what I actually feel about it, I feel like it's not so big a deal as people are making it out to be. Now, obviously, having a sponsor on the mat in WWE is essentially sacrilege, and I understand that. But I also understand that it's a business, they need to make money, they need to be able to generate revenue, And this is definitely one of the easiest ways we've had of having an ad every 2 minutes. Like, if it means that we have shorter ads overall, put a sponsor on the ring mat. I don't care. Like, as long as the action is there and it is quality and it's not so much like poop like it was for years under the last years of Vince, I am happy to have whatever on the mat as long as it adds to the product. And, Prime Energy Drink, it's essentially Logan Paul's company, and he is the US champion at the moment, so it plays into a storyline. And I think that he's absolutely perfect for over a story. I mean, you could have a whole thing like Randy Orton came in and RKO'd KSI, so like they will work it into a storyline, and that is what I think is really good. I mean, as I mentioned before, WCW back in the day had Slim Jim on the mat. I mean, I think was it 2000? Some of the 2000 pay-per-views had Slim Jim directly on the mat. I mean, some of the older ones obviously had Slim Jim, but yeah, Slim Jim was a long-time sponsor of wrestling, and they were on the mat. So imagine that. Going forward, you could have all these sponsors on the mat. I mean, it's a bit off-putting to have a big Prime thing on the mat, but at least it's Logan Paul's company, and he is the US champion. And look, I was not a fan of Logan Paul at first. I'll admit I was kind of a hater. But he has proved himself in the wrestling business. He has essentially won me over. And that's not because, whatever. He's doing the same thing that The Miz had to do back in like '09 and 2010 and all this stuff. And when did he win the title? I think it was 2010? I don't remember exactly, but it was around WrestleMania 27. He went into 27 as the champ. So I'm not so much worked up. Oh, actually, it would have been 2011 because WrestleMania 27 was around in 2011. So yeah, he's having to do what The Miz done, essentially, where he's got to establish himself. Yes, we know he came from YouTube. The first I heard of him was the Colorblind video, and then obviously he did the Japanese Forest video, which was his most infamous video ever, and we all heard about him from there. But like, look, Logan is trying to be a WWE superstar. He's upholding the company. He's getting a lot more publicity than he probably deserves, but it's Logan Paul. I get it. And you know what? If it brings kids to wrestling, and this is what we don't understand, like back in the day, like yes, we had The Rock, we had all this, we had Cena, we had all these other people in the wrestling industry. We get it, but they were still doing deals like this back in the day. Like Mr. T at the first WrestleMania, like they brought Mr. T in because it brought an audience to wrestling. Logan Paul has a dedication, and they've done the same thing with Bad Bunny. I'll give credit to Bad Bunny as well. He has put on some freaking good matches, better than I expected from him. But so often we get into this whole thing with, they're not a wrestler, we don't want them. The Miz went through that, as I mentioned. Like, The Miz was a reality star, and he had to work his ass off 3 times harder than just about anyone to try to establish himself in wrestling. Logan Paul is doing the same thing right now. He's the US champion. Obviously, they've given him a title, but people are still like, but you're not a real wrestler. Like, get out of the wrestling. And he is putting on some of the best matches on pay-per-views at times. Like, the Elimination Chamber, and this is the thing, it doesn't have to be the best in terms of technical ability and all this other stuff. Like, it would be great if we get those matches up, but we have our other people for that. We have our Seth Rollins, we have our AJ Styles, we have our other people to do technical workhouses if they need to. But the whole thing about the Elimination Chamber that I was cracking up about was just Logan Paul drawing like the little devil faces on Kevin Owens and like drawing on the Elimination Chamber, and that was just absolutely hilarious. Like, it added to the match, and this is what people don't understand. And kids will tune into that because Logan Paul and be like, this is funny, I want to watch WWE because Logan Paul is on WWE. So yes, it is. Why am I going off about Logan Paul? Because he's proved that he cares about wrestling. It's not just something like he's there for a month, like he did with Floyd Mayweather. He was just there, fought Floyd Mayweather, and then just went on his way and did whatever he did after that. Logan Paul has actually shown he cares about wrestling. He wants to be a part of wrestling, and that he wants to do it long term. He is still around. Like, he didn't just do one match in WWE and then leave. He's still there. He's still trying to push, better the business and better himself in the business. I mean, as I said, he's putting on some really good matches, and he deserves credit for that. Like, people still don't, some people, I mean, a lot of people do give him credit, but some people still don't give The Miz the credit he deserves. And I'm like, he's a 2-time WWE champion, and like, is he a Triple Crown or no? He's not a Triple Crown. He's like Grand Slam. He's the Grand Slam winner twice. But like the Miz doesn't get the credit he deserves either, and the Miz has really established that whole crossover. He was one of the first real like jump in week to week. I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna really push it. He was the first real one that I remember, at least. There may have been some before it, but obviously he was one of the first. Obviously they had Tough Enough beforehand, but that was under WWE anyways, like Maven. And Maven has a really good YouTube channel that I've been watching. I think Maven has found his niche and he's found what he's best at. And it just happens to be talking, and I really enjoy Maven's videos at the moment. But like, so often we get so caught up in, reality stars. And I know this wasn't what the video was about, but look, Logan Paul was a reality star. Prime Energy Drink is his drink. And now Prime Energy Drink is the first center mat sponsor for WWE. So you'll see a Prime Energy Drink in the middle of the ring at pay-per-views or premium live events. I still hate calling them premium live events. They're pay-per-views, even though you don't pay for them. I get that. So yeah, I'm not so moved by it. I mean, they're working in the storylines. I mean, the Orton storyline is pretty funny. They're working it into the Orton versus Logan. And I think that actually works. Like, it is a really good thing for the business. If TKO gets some money and they can do other stuff with that money and make the business better overall, great. And the fact that WWE and Triple H have looked at that and said, okay, we've got this big thing in the middle of the ring now and we got this big sponsor, but we can somehow work that into a storyline with Randy Orton, and they've done that perfectly. So I give Triple H credit for doing that. I give WWE credit for allowing that with a sponsor, and I give Logan Paul credit for actually giving a poop about wrestling enough to where, yes, he is the sponsor of the center ring sponsor. He's the owner of that company, but he is essentially putting his all into every match, and he's trying to be better, and he's jumping off ropes, and he's trying to be the wrestler he wants to be. And look, I'm still not a massive fan of Logan, but I will give credit where credit's due. He has done an amazing job in wrestling. And, yeah, it would look silly to have a big Prime Energy drink under Hell in a Cell like this. If I have seen the memes, I've got the Cactus shirt on. I've seen the memes with Prime Energy drink on the mat underneath. It would look very silly, but it's a different era. And we were very lucky to not have sponsors on the ring for WWE for 40, 50 odd years. But the time has come to put sponsors on the ring, and TKO are going that way. All I'm grateful of is that it's owned by someone in the company, that the first sponsor is owned by someone in the company, which is Prime Energy Drink, to where they can turn it into a storyline. And I think that's commendable, because storylines is what wrestling's built on. And if Prime Energy Drink can somehow be used to further a storyline, I'm all for it. As I said, WCW had Slim Jim on the mat. I'm not too sacrilege over it. I'm not too worked up over it. If it adds to the business, I'm happy with it. And that is where I'll end it, because I went for 13 and a half minutes. But I will end on this. How do you feel about Logan Paul? How do you feel about the deal? How do you feel about Prime Energy Drink being in center ring, center mat for pay-per-views? Or premium live events? Sorry, I'm going to keep calling them pay-per-views because they are pay-per-views to me. And if you have a problem with that, sorry, but they are pay-per-views. And I know we got the new terminology, but they will always be pay-per-views to me. And that's just an old generation thing. We can call them premium live events, we can call them the proper thing, but they are pay-per-views to me. So yeah, when the pay-per-views go to air, we'll have Prime Energy Drink in the center. How do you feel about it? Do you feel it's the right decision? Do you feel it's the wrong decision? Do you feel like this is better for the business or worse for the business? Jump in my comments down below. I'm always reading the comments. I will engage with you, and while I won't reply to everything because I simply do not have the time to reply to everything, I will reply to, as Ollie Davis says on his videos, I'll reply to people from out of nowhere. Love watching Wrestle Talk. They're really good wrestling news videos. But yeah, as I said, I will reply to people if I think it warrants a response, and if I feel like I have a response that I can add to a comment. I read the comments. So how do you feel about Logan Paul? How do you feel about Prime Energy Drink being center mat? How do you feel about sponsors on the ring in general? And do you feel like Logan Paul has added to the business? Has he added to his persona? Have you seen the passion in him? I have seen the passion, and that's why I'm giving him such credit. He deserves credit, in my opinion, because he has done the work, he has put in the effort, and he's not making a joke of wrestling. Because that's what we were all afraid of at first. He was just going to be like, oh, Logan Paul's just coming in to make a joke out of all of this. But he hasn't. He's actually respected the business, and I think he deserves credit for that. But as I said, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree. You don't have to feel the same way. And that's why my comment section is there. Jump down there and have a comment. Say your piece. I will listen. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. I mean, I will post more wrestling videos because I am a massive wrestling fan and I absolutely love the thing. So let's talk wrestling all day, and I will catch you in the next one. So till then, peace out, and I'll catch you in the next one.